Hello and welcome back to another Warhammer the Old World Battle Report. Today the proud defenders of Ulthuan return to the screen, and against us is a new army that I haven't played against before yet in Old World, the Ogres. So my friend who's the Night Goblin player recently acquired a second-hand Ogre army that he's starting to work on. So that's fun to see, to get to play against a new army. I have brought a Seaguard themed list in honor of the upcoming Arcane Journal. I haven't followed the rumored restrictions that Arcane Journal has, which is no dragons and no level 4 mages, which we'll see what other rules come with that, but I think sadly that might sort of cut down the playability of that Army of Infamy, but we'll see what happens when we get here, when that gets here. So I have taken a Prince on Star Dragon with the Blood of Kalador on her, and he has the Ogre Blade, the Dragon Helm, and the Seed of Rebirth. So yeah, I haven't really used the Ogre Blade, but I think if you are going to do it, it's Blood of Kalador is nice to get you that extra weapon skill, and the 6-up word save, but not out of your magic item allotment, so you can still take some other magic defensive items. Then we have an Archmage on high magic with the Lore Familiar and a Ruby Ring. So she's going to be trying to cast Walk Between Worlds on the Seaguard unit to make them ethereal and hopefully invulnerable. And then I have a Noble Battle Standard Bearer with a Battle Banner, so D3 combat res, and 2 Opal Amulets. So, yeah, hopefully ethereal, but if not ethereal, then a potential 5, and then D5 static combat res plus D3, and then any sort of stand and shoot they get, and the unit has the Razor Banner. So yeah, 35 Seaguard with veterans and the Razor Banner. Then 9 drilled Swordmasters of Hoeth. They're just, my thought with them is they could be a little flanking force behind these guys. So when these guys use Naval Discipline potentially to reform, it would then open up the Swordmasters to be able to charge. That's the theory. Doesn't happen in this game. 2 Skycutters in rare, and then 10 Sisters of Avalorn, who have a High Sister and are stubborn. And then my opponent's army is a Tyrant on Thunder Tusk, a big unit of Iron Guts, a little unit of 3 Bulls, and then 2 Iron Blaster Chariots, and then a little unit of Saber Tusks. I'll flip to it here. So yeah, Tyrant with the Tenderizer, the Talisman of Protection, a Bruiser in that big Iron Gut unit with the Razor Standard, Army Meteoric Iron, and then a Slaughtermaster also in that big unit, level 4, and he's got the Spell Leader Axe. Then 11 Iron Guts, 3 Ogre Bulls, the 2 Iron Blasters, and the little Saber Tusk pack. So yeah, new army for him. He's testing it out. It's got a couple hard hitting units. The cannons are quite good, but yeah, not a lot going on. Not a lot of units. We had the same number of drops. So the ogres won the roll to go first. His cat's head marched up, and then, or vanguarded up, and then they marched up. Thunder Tusk marched forward, and then I got Arcane Urgency cast on him as well. The Iron Blaster Chariots moved up forward. Our understanding of the rules is that because of the whatever it is, firing platform rule, they have 360 line of sight off the cannons, which feels a bit silly, but one of them got a hit over on the dragon and did 2 wounds to him, so he's down to 7. So I guess thoughts for this game. My dragon with the Ogre Blade is going to be happy to fight pretty much anything one-on-one, but doesn't want to get stuck into the Ogre Bulls and the Tyrant at the same time. And the Tyrant is not a great fight, but it's okay. It'll sort of come down to how the dice go. I don't have any Opal Amulets, and I only have a 6-up board. And then I have way more ballistic skill shooting than him. I want to avoid the cannons killing my Skycutters, which is why they're sort of hiding behind hills and woods. And yeah, if I am ethereal, then I'm not really worried about being charged by the ogres, and I should be trying to welcome them into a fight with the Seaguard. My thought was I could get them up on this hill and then just sort of shoot at him and make him come to me. Deploying these guys over here, though, means that these are points that he can pick up without really being able to support him. So I think that was a bit of a misplay. I put the Skycutter down there first, which I think was fine. But the sisters should have been in this wood, and then my turn when this guy could have just marched over here, and his Thunder Tusk would have been out of position and had a long walk across the board. So that was unfortunate, but we're gonna keep playing as it is. I mean, if I can get rid of the Saber Tusk, then because of skirmishers and this wood and evasive, if he tries to shoot at me, say with his fireball off his battle magic caster, I can sort of evade and dance around and hopefully get around the charge arcs of the tyrant. But we'll see how we get along. So he shot it. He tried to cast a fireball at the sisters. He used evasive to fall back in his turn, and then I backed off even more in my turn. So they've moved back. The Skycutter is charged into the Saber Test pack. Walk Between Worlds is off. So they've moved, and then Reserve moved up. The dragon's just flown straight forward. He's going to try and get into some of the chariots, some of the meat of the army before the cannons do too much more damage. And what happens is the Skycutter kills one Saber Tusk on impact hits, and then fails to do a single wound to the other one. So the Saber Tusks are weapon skill 4, so I'm hitting them on 4s with my crew, and then toughness 4, so wounding on 4s, and then so between the 5 attacks between the eagle and the crew, I did no wounds, and then he rolled double 1s, so he just gave ground, which has left my Skycutter, because my thought is the Skycutter will just kill them or make them fall back in good order. I'll pursue and I'll get out of the way, out of the charge arc of the Thunder Tusk, which then, because I moved the sisters away, he won't be able to see anything. That sort of wastes a turn of his movement. But instead, he's going to get to crunch this Skycutter, which is what happens. Skycutter gets crunched. Another cannon does 3 more wounds to the dragon. I think 1 misfired, and one did 3 wounds. So that's again unfortunate. Because I have a 5-up armor save, 6-up board, and then a 5-up regen. And the Iron Guts turn to start facing off against the dragon, and he sort of just he was set up so that this Iron Blast was sort of a sacrificial victim for the dragon, and then I'll ideally be here to be charged. But yeah, I think he felt afterwards that his positioning could have been a bit better here, and I think he maybe forgot to cast Arcane Urgency on something. So the dragon charges in, kills the Iron Blaster, and then restrains. And because if I had have overran, would have been bad. I would have ended up here, potentially getting flank charges. But because I've restrained, it's now too far for these ogres to really make this charge. And the sisters reform into their weird skirmish formation. This guy should have been over here on this side, and shoot the last saber-toothed tiger off, and then are out of line of sight of the stone Thunder Tusk. And then things just move forward. He's still a bit far away for shots. I think the Ruby Ring did a couple wounds to the Iron Blaster, and this Skycut is just sort of trying to get around in behind him. The dragon's right here. I'm less worried about the Iron Blaster shooting at the chariot because there's a bigger threat. So the ogres march up in front of the Skycutter to prevent me from getting impact hits on him. The Thunder Tusk walks into the woods and then uses his breath weapon, which I didn't know it had, to kill a couple Sisters of Avalorn. I could have used evasive, but I'm getting close to the board edge, and I don't want them to run away because of their stubborn. I know that if he charges me, I can hold him for at least 2 turns, where he'll have to fight 2 rounds of combat. And then the cannon fails. I think I actually make my save against the cannon this time. So the dragon's still around. And I'm not sure what the Iron Guts did. I guess they just sort of stood where they were. They have Oaken Shield cast them, so they have a 5-up ward. And he put the 5-up regen onto the Iron Blaster. So the dragon charges into the Iron Blaster, kills it, and then overruns into the big Iron Guts unit. I'm happy with that. He's not going to get his impact hits on charging me, and I want to fight this unit anyways, even though I'm only down to... I only have 4 wounds remaining, but he's got 2 characters in there, and the champ, and
But with my Ogre Blade, I feel like I can dump a fair number of wounds into him. And these sisters fail their test to march, which I'm pretty sure they have to make even though they're immune to psychology. So they can't march out of the charge arc of the Stonehorn. And so they're just sort of sitting here. And shooting, I think my 500 point unit of Seaguard on a hill with a mage with the ruby ring does 1 wound to this unit of Ogre Pulse. So yeah, maybe not the most efficient use of points there. Yeah, so that's the Prince going into the Ogres. I tried to split my attacks. Tried to put some into the Wizard, some into the unit champ, and then some into the unit. And what I ended up doing, the Wizard, because of the 5-up ward and 5-up regen, I think didn't take a wound this round. And then the champion and the other Ogre both survived on 1 wound, so got to attack back, but then died to the stomps. Or the champion didn't die to the stomps, but the other guy did. So I killed an Ogre. And 2 of them only have 1 wound left. And they fail to do any wounds back to the dragon. So, not great, but fine. His turn, these Ogres turn around. This fight keeps going. The Thundertest charges into the sisters, who the unit champ issues a challenge. She dies, and then they use Stubborn to fall back. What's going on? So, did I lose a turn in there? I flew over. He charges, fights. They use Stubborn. No, it's my turn? Yeah, so in this fight, the Thundertusk reduces the sisters down to 1 and then reforms. The Sword Masters have used Drilled to get into Marching Column to move up. The Skycutters moved over to the flank, and then this fight's kept going. I have lost 1 wound, but I have killed the unit champ and another Ogre. I again split my attacks and put some into the Wizard because I'd like to kill him and get rid of the 5-up ward save from the whatever it's called, the spell, Oaken Shield. And my opponent didn't issue a challenge, but he was again thinking after, like, maybe he should have been issuing some challenges here. The Wizard, though, because he's a higher weapon skill and a higher toughness, rather than hitting him on 2s like I do the Iron Guts unit, I'm hitting him on 3s. And then the Prince is only wounding him on 3s instead of 2s as well because he's toughness 5. So I'm not sure if that's the best call to try and kill him off. Also, the Prince was just rolling very poorly. Lots of 1s to hit. So this fight keeps going. I keep making him fall back in good order, but because his general's here, who's leadership 9, I'm not getting he's not breaking. Oh, and the Seaguard shoot off finally pull their weight and shoot off the 1 little unit of Ogre Bulls. On his turn, the Thundertest just moves forward. This fight continues. At some point, he issues a challenge with the BSB, I think this round, who has Meteoric Iron and the 5-up ward save from Oaken Shield and the 5-up regen. So I think I did 2 or 3 wounds to him in the challenge, and just barely. I think I won this one by 1, which was sort of lucky. And he'd lost his rank now, which was also lucky. So then in the High Elf turn, I fly my Skycutter up just to move block him, to prevent him from getting a charge into my dragon on his turn. And this fight continues. I kill the Battle Standard Bearer, and then make them fall back in good order again. Ogre's turn. The Tyrant kills the Skycutter and reforms. I continue to make him fall back in good order again. I think I did. So I again targeted the mage. I think I did some wounds this time. I think maybe I did 4 wounds to him. So he's on the edge. But then that gave it away. The Ogre's final turn, Ogre's last turn. The Thunderous charges in. I still get to swing first because I've always strike first in the Ogre Blade. So I put my attacks into the Wizard and kill him. But then the Thundertusk kills the Prince with the Tenderizer. And that is the game. And then my turn. Nothing's really close enough to do anything. So I mean, these guys were 1 inch away from falling back in good order off the table, which would have let me get my dragon out of here. I could have the turn before tried to restrain the dragon and then just fly away behind this hill to preserve its points, which would have probably have been the smart move. I would have killed had the BSB killed at that point. And really, I would have lost this. Yeah, the 2 Skycutters and the Sisters, but not losing the dragon was a big point swing. So it ended up being a very close game. Sort of like, I think less than 100 points separated us, with the high elves maybe having a bit of an edge. But yeah, on a points differential scoring, it would have been a draw. So yeah, it was a good, fun first game against the Ogres, and then it was nice to get the high elves back on the field. We'll see how. Yeah, I didn't. Unfortunately, my Seaguard really played no role in this game, so you don't even get to look at them. I'm in the process of rebasing them onto the proper size bases. But yeah, I'd say they're one of my more nicely painted units. But unfortunately, they didn't really get to be seen in this battle. But we'll see once the Army of Infamy is out from the Arcane Journal. They'll definitely make an appearance, even if the army is not quite as good as I would like it to be. Yeah, so our thoughts on the game. Yeah, I could have tried to preserve the dragon's points after this fight, kept on dragging. This time it was starting to come in. I think misdeployed the Sisters, the Seaguard. I don't know. They could have gone in the middle and tried to shoot things, but they're really not that good. Right? They're only strength 3 bows. They don't have poison. If they're not on the hill, I guess they could have been all shooting at the Iron Blasters because they're large targets. They would all get to shoot, but he can sort of dance around this building to limit how many can actually just see them at all. So because those guys get to move and fire. So I think coming up on this hill was potentially a good option. If my Sisters had been over here, I could have sort of set up a shooting ring and forced them to come into me. And the dragon could have just hung out behind this hill, safe from the cannons until they got closer. Because losing 5 wounds before I got into combat was not great for the dragon. Definitely made him more vulnerable. But yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you on the next video. Bye.